podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Spanning the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, this is Subject Cinema's Avengers Endgame MCU Countdown.
Hey y'all!
Hi!
You up for more Avengers stuff? I hope so. This is Subject Cinema's Avengers Endgame MCU Countdown. I'm TC Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
Every day until the release of Avengers Endgame, we're going to be going back through the Marvel Cinematic Universe with some classic reviews. And we are up to the third one. Seeing how we started this on the 5th, it's now April 7th. Today's focus is another Downey adventure.
Yes, it is.
Iron Man 2. Looking back in the mirror, I liked all three Iron Man movies, but I like this one the least of the three. I think because they really didn't develop the Mickey Rourke character enough, and I thought a lot of the stuff with the Sam Rockwell character, what's his name, Justin Hammer, could have been done and exploited more through the Avengers storylines, and they got it all and got rid of him in one thing. So, but
that is a shame. That is a shame because if they had kept Justin around, it would be really interesting to see him as a constant, not an arch enemy of Tony's, because let's face it, he's
one of
not,
these little nagging.
Yeah, he's not good enough to be an arch enemy. But we did get a really great character in this movie. Unfortunately, the person playing him is no longer with us, in the late Gary Shandling.
Oh yes, we were introduced to Gary Shandling, senator, who had a secret of his own, as we would find out in about a year and a half.
What, a politician?
2 years, 2 or 3 years,
politician with a dirty secret? Say it's not so.
Yeah, and Shandling, best known for a comic.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedy and his sitcoms. It's unusual to see him play drama stuff like he did here, although it was for comic effect.
Yeah.
So, it's good. Let's go back to Subject Cinema, number... Oh, wow. 228. These are so old. Day and date original released May 9th, 2010. Robert Downey Jr., Mickey Rourke, and Sam Rockwell, Iron Man 2.
Could we pick up now where we left off? Mr. Stark, please.
Yes, dear.
Could I have your attention?
Absolutely.
Our priority here is to have you turn over the Iron Man weapon to the American people.
Well, you can forget it.
We're safe. America is secure. You want my property? You can't have it. But I did you a big favor.
I have successfully privatized world peace.
We're adjourned for the day. You've been a delight.
Okay, give me a smooth...
Okay. He flies around in this 800-pound suit of armor. He's arrogant. He's full of himself. Doesn't care what anybody else thinks.
He doesn't have to. He has more money than God.
Oh my gosh.
Well.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that really presumptuous? But after all...
Picture Bruce Wayne without the guilt.
Yes, and you get Tony Stark as played by Robert Downey Jr. in this summer's most anticipated sequel of the first month of the big blockbusters, Iron Man 2. Give us the 90-second rundown.
The most anticipated sequel about people that don't sparkle. Tony Stark... I knew that would get a reaction. Tony Stark is back. This whole thing, the whole movie kicks off at the Stark Expo, where Tony makes one of the best entrances ever. I have always said that
it's original.
It's original. You got to give him that. A good entrance, it makes a scene, and he makes one of the best entrances ever. But things are not going all that well for Tony in other areas because, as it turns out, ironically, the battery that's keeping him alive, little glowing ashtray in his chest.
Yeah.
It's also killing him.
Mm-hmm.
And he is trying to find a way to deal with this and still run his bajillion-dollar company and still be the first, for lack of a better term, out superhero that is on the planet. He's got the government breathing down his neck.
That's the catalyst for the whole film. The government is forcing him to go through hearings and all this stuff about they want the suit.
The government wants the suit.
Led by a pompously fat Gary Shandling.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, he's demanding the suit. Well, he doesn't want to. He considers himself the greatest deterrent of privatized world peace.
Yes. As he says, the suit, as Tony says, the suit and I are one.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm sorry, he has a point. The government just thinks they can come in and say, yeah, okay, you made this, but we're going to take it. No, I'm sorry. That last time I looked, this was still America, and you can't do that. But there are some other issues going on.
You don't pay attention to what's going on, do you? Anyway.
We're not going to do a political discussion in the middle of this. Please.
Okay.
Let me have my superhero fun.
Well, a superhero was a comment on the politics of the day anyway. But in any case,
so
it could be that Tony is the best possible hope for peace. Except
the fact that it turns out that Tony's big argument is that the government's big argument is that, well, other countries could get this stuff and it could be a big problem. Tony's argument is, well, that they're, 20 years behind. That may not be as accurate as he'd like to think it is. We find that out through a Russian gentleman named Ivan Vanko, who has a major axe to grind against Stark Industries. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have the money to back up what he needs to do, although he makes a hell of a statement during
during the annual Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah, a statement that winds up catching the attention of the weaselly Justin Hammer, played absolutely brilliantly by Sam Rockwell. Justin is a business rival of Tony's who wants to outshine him.
An incompetent business rival.
And just the one of the biggest sleaze weasels I've ever seen. This movie has explosions. It has new characters in Justin Hammer. In the beautiful Natalie Rushman, who is a member of Stark Enterprises, who may have a different agenda than anybody else knows about. Newsflash, she does. There's still the government to deal with. There's still Tony's own health problems to deal with.
And, of course, S.H.I.E.L.D. and their Avenger initiative.
Yes, led by Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, who is just awesome. Oh my gosh, this movie rocked! I thought it was great. I thought the chemistry in this was off the charts. The chemistry between Tony and Pepper Potts, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, was just incredible. The way they
it's as good as the first movie, which they were also brilliant in together.
The way they back and forth with each other was absolutely amazing and so wonderful. And I'm just sitting there going, "Will you kiss her, you dip?" It's just pretty much. It was exciting.
Well, she spent most of the movie pissed at him, so it's like
she spends most of her life pissed at him. Or hadn't you noticed?
Yes, it has.
He's very easy at pissing people off. He's an expert at it, and he knows it, and he's so smug about it, and it's just beyond awesome. The Senate hearings were great.
Oh my God, the Senate hearings are a freaking scream.
I'm like, I wish the Senate hearings were like that for real. I'd pay attention then. But there was some.
It came close with the Goldman Sachs thing last week. Some of them were slipping off to the senators.
We did have a cast change from the previous film, in Don Cheadle taking over the part of Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodey Rhodes, a good friend of Tony's. There is action. There is just some awesome fighting sequences. A great soundtrack. Yep. Although I do find it truly weird that no point in this movie do they play Iron Man.
They played it in the first movie.
Well, yeah, I know,
they didn't
but
need
still.
to play it here. And AC/DC wrote the score too.
They use a ton of AC/DC songs. Shoot to Kill,
yeah, but
Highway
they also
to Hell.
wrote original stuff, the background score and stuff too. Robert Downey Jr., of course, as Tony Stark is brilliant. This part is made for Robert Downey Jr.
Absolutely.
He is an absolutely. I honestly think he and Johnny Depp are my two favorite actors on the planet right now. I just love Downey in anything. He can take something as arrogant as Tony Stark and make him likable.
Oh, he's so
and
likable.
Enjoyable. And just like he did with Kirk Lazarus in Tropic Thunder, one of his true and deserved Oscar nominations for that role. And damn it, he's got to win an Oscar soon. I mean, he's just brilliant. Gwyneth is awesome. Mickey Rourke as Ivan, what's his name?
Ivan Vanko.
Mickey didn't have as big a part as I thought he would have.
But when he was on scring, you were drawn to him.
Yeah, and he has a flawless Russian accent.
Oh, I know.
Sam Rockwell is one of my favorite character actors right now. He is so, everybody who really loves good movies loves Sam Rockwell, but the general public, I think this is their first really big exposure to him in a major role. I mean, those of us who watch indie films and who've seen him in movies like Moon and Choke and Snow Angels and all these earlier
Gentlemen
things.
Broncos.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen that yet. Coming soon, but not yet.
Snark.
Snark?
Sorry,
what the hell is Snark?
Snarking over here.
He's just fantastic.
I know. Oh, he's awesome. And he's such a... Oh, you want to punch him the first time you see him. You really do.
Don Cheadle, great in the role played by Terrence Howard in the first film. And Gary Shandling as the... I didn't
write the senator's name.
As the senator in this.
Spearheading the We Want Iron Man's armor cause.
Right. Gary Shandling has been playing parts like this recently. And he's mostly always been a comic.
Yeah.
And lately he's been playing these buffoonish characters, and he's really good at it. But man, has he put on weight. If I didn't recognize the eyes and the voice, I might not have recognized him. He's gotten that heavy.
Really?
I think he's gained about 50 pounds. He does not look nearly as svelte as he used to be.
That might have been padding for the movie. I don't know.
It might have been. Although he was that chunky in the last movie we saw him in, too.
And Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson surprised me. I didn't think I'd like her in the role as Natasha.
Natalie Rushman, who is actually really Natasha Romanoff, who is actually really...
the Black Widow. And she's an operative
Which you never
of
bring
S.H.I.E.L.D.
up.
They don't. She's an operative of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, I think they can figure that out already. It's not something that hasn't been on every movie
she
website
has got
out there.
One fight scene where it's her against...
Oh, my God.
It's her against about 85 hench guys, and you feel bad for them.
Minus the blood, it was like watching Ninja Assassin again.
I know.
It was a great sequence.
There was some gadgets in that part that I'm going, ooh, want that. One of those.
There were some hilarious cameos of things in this film. The strawberries, which played an intricate part, was just really a dumb thing, but it was funny because of the way they did it.
Yeah.
You'll see a very familiar-looking shield in this movie.
Yeah.
And used in the audience lost it. It was so funny.
And, of course, we've got cameos from
Christiane Amanpour and Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Making cameos as themselves, doing commentary on the various battles in the Senate over the Iron Man suit.
And, of course, the ubiquitous cameo by We're Not Worthy.
Stan Lee as Larry King.
Tony identifies him as Larry King.
Well, he kind of looks like Larry King.
Well, a little bit.
Larry King, gonna do Larry King. Did you always make that suit for yourself there?
No.
Gonna have Angie Dickinson for the full hour tomorrow.
Stop,
sorry.
Please.
I'm sorry.
Gosh.
Larry is like senile these days.
Oh my gosh! Really? You're gonna go there?
Well, obviously he's not senile, given all the stuff in the tabloids the last
I know.
couple of weeks. In any case, what's your score?
My score is 4.5 bouquets out of 5. This is what a sequel is supposed to be, as in picking up where the original story left off and running with it. I think this was awesome. And stay for after the credits.
Yeah, as with all the Marvel superhero movies, there is an after credit sequence, so be sure to see it.
Yep. What about you?
I had a couple of problems with it. Not terrible problems. I didn't think the climactic fight scene lasted long enough.
No, you didn't.
I said that last night.
You had the same problem in X-Men The Last Stand, the fight between Pyro and Bobby. You had the same problem.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said it was too short.
Well, maybe I did. I don't know. But I thought there was something else I had the problem with as far as fight scenes go, but I don't think it was X-Men The Last Stand.
I see.
It might have been. Might have been. I don't know. But I didn't. I mean, this was 2-on-1, plus all the extra accoutrements, which you'll find out if you go see the movie.
One of the suits got real pimped out.
One of the suits?
Well,
everything is, as far as the firepower is just like, oh my God.
Lots of explosions. Kim was very happy.
The other thing that got on my nerves throughout the movie, I don't think they really played Pepper as positively as they should have, because she's basically doing Tony's job through most of the movie.
Well, he gave her the job.
Well, another spoiler.
Sorry.
But, I mean, it was like they weren't taking her seriously. And I don't think that was fair to the character. She's a brilliant person.
Yeah.
But those are two little flawed things. Not terribly flawed as far as I'm concerned. It was wonderful to see Robert Downey Jr. back in the Stark mode again. Because he's just so good at it. And if anybody out there has like $10 million, I'd like a Jarvis for Christmas.
I'll put that on the list.
Thank you. I loved it as well. Iron Man 2 gets 4 stars from me. I mean, it's a fun movie.
It is fun. And
I love Downey as Iron Man.
Me too.
Tony Stark, although I had problems with the character when we got into the Civil War area, which I've talked about and we'll talk about when we get to those again.
Yep.
But the character, he was born to play Tony Stark.
He really was. And talking of the cast and stuff like that, one person we didn't mention before, Don Cheadle, who took over the role of
Don Cheadle
James.
stepped into Terrence Howard's role as Rhodey Rhodes.
Yep. I love Don Cheadle anyway.
Yeah.
And I liked Terrence Howard's take as Rhodey, but I'm sorry, Don Cheadle is Rhodey to me.
Yeah, and he's done a great job in making this character his own as we've gone through the Avengers Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff. And it's going to be something else. We're counting up counting down. Counting up? I don't know.
Counting
all
sideways.
of the Marvel Cinematic Universe from
Counting
now
blue
through
cars.
April 25th, and then April 26th when Endgame premieres. We will be on the air probably sometime around 11:30 at night. We're going, it might even be later than that. It's a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
We were joking a couple days ago about what was on your list? You had to take with you for the movie?
Oh, yes, my checklist. If you don't
Her
follow
Avengers
me...
Endgame
yes,
checklist.
If you don't follow me on Twitter, PlatinumRosella, Twitter.com, I have my Avengers movie checklist up. Now, this is just for me. It's not for everybody else, because you might not be of legal drinking age, so that's called CYA, children. So, my Avengers movie checklist. Chocolate, check. Vodka, check. Tissues, check. Therapist on speed dial, check. So I'm all set. I'm ready.
And I suggested that she add a catheter to that because the movie is 3 hours and 2 minutes long.
And again, ew.
Well, we are going to do something we haven't done yet. This is going to be our first visit to Boston's newest luxury multiplex, the Sarasota Showplace Icon at the Seaport. It is a beautiful theater from what I've said. It's got a Davio's restaurant inside. It's got all kinds of stuff. But the tickets were hella expensive compared to Showcase. About $7 more.
I'm actually kind of thinking I might actually forgo the tissues and I might just bring a sponge and a bucket.
No,
just to bring it.
Sponge won't last. Bucket too big. You need a ShamWow. That'll hold it until the movie is over. We'll be back tomorrow with Thor covering as we go through these in chronological order. Until then, for the subject cinemas Avengers Endgame MCU Countdown, I'm TC Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
Alrighty, Avengers, almost time to
assemble.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.